If someone is truly authentic and you just like them, how many friends do you have who are not charismatic, right? I'm sure you have plenty, because they're a real person. They're a genuine good person. They see life the same way I see life. They care about the same things I care about. They're I have a friend who I call a social hand grenade, right? Edwin, a good buddy of mine. He's a total social hand grenade. You take that guy anywhere, he is going to say something that pisses half the room off.
You always need that guy with you. You always need the guy that'll do that or jump on the table or drink too much. It makes it more fun. I always try to make sure I invite somebody like that whenever there's something going on.
But I'd follow Edwin into battle any day of the week, right? He is an authentic, genuine person. Now, when you have that authenticity and charisma layers on top of it, that's a powerhouse. But when you have somebody who has no business being a leader, but they also have charisma, that's a dangerous combination, right? That's diabetes in the making, right there. That's your soda pop and all of your sugar-laced sauces and all the stuff that's causing weight issues in America right now, right? That's sugar with no substance. The same thing happens in leadership. Someone who's no substance and all charisma is a dangerous person.
If somebody isn't getting the result they want, then the person they are isn't the person to get that result. Like, you fundamentally have to change the person to change the outcome. Right. And a lot of people struggle with that idea that if the outcome I'm getting isn't what I want, we're so, there's so many things attached to our identity. And we're so locked in that we have a hard time reinventing who we are in that sense. And so from the outside looking in, how would you explain to somebody how to reinvent themselves, right?
Yeah, so there's so much wisdom in what you just said, right? Have you ever heard people say, like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again? And yet you're exactly right. People see it, they're not achieving a certain result, and they don't want to do the work, or they're afraid to even consider that there might be something fundamentally flawed with them as a person right now. So then they try to externalize it and find blame somewhere else. That's why everybody hates their boss, right? Because their boss is always the one holding them back. The boss isn't the one holding you back. The boss may be a contributing factor in the fact that you're not hitting the result, but it's not the only factor. Right? And the boss is a manageable factor once you're willing to do the work on yourself. One of the things that CIA teaches us is that we have these skills or preferences, right? That we're born with, they're not born with, but they're developed in us when we're very young. We don't even realize they're happening, right? For some people, they're really good at problem solving. For some people, it's a creative vision. For some people, it's a desire for learning, whatever it might be. And we don't value them because they're so natural to us, right? My son is really good with color. He can look at a picture and then take a blank sheet of paper and he can recreate the same shades and colors and palettes and everything, right? He doesn't even realize it's impressive. He's 9. I look at it, I can look at a picture of Superman, and then I can have a black and white picture of Superman, and I cannot remember what part of the suit is red, white, blue, or yellow. I just know they're in there, but I don't know where they go. I have to reference back and forth. It's super hard for me, right? When you don't value the talent that you have, you tend to throw it away. But then what happens as you get older, that talent, even though you don't value it, it keeps coming back to you, right? And then you get it again. You're good at speaking. Well, what's that going to be? That doesn't help me that doesn't help me in algebra right now in 10th grade. So whatever. And then it comes back and it hits you in the chest or it hits you in the forehead when you're in 12th grade. And you're like, I'm good at speaking. Well, that doesn't get me a date to prom, so you throw it away. And then it comes back and hits you when you're 19 years old. And you're like, you just keep throwing these talents away, but they keep coming back because they're ingrained in you, right? It's what you're good at. You can't throw it away. It's wired into you. So CIA teaches us that you have to trust those talents and recognize those talents are essentially your competitive advantage in the game of intelligence. Because the game of intelligence is just the game of life with higher stakes. You're not just making friends to make friends. Now you're making friends to steal secrets. right? You're not just going for a walk to the grocery store, you're going for a walk to the grocery store if somebody's following you. So it's just higher stakes. But you learn how to become the highest version of yourself when you embrace these talents that you've been devaluing your whole life. And then you start taking them on and owning them. So a lot of times, to get back to your point, fundamentally changing yourself often just starts with accepting what you're good at. And instead of devaluing it because you think everybody's good at it, guess what? Not everybody's good at everything. Not everybody is good at the same thing you're good at. So let yourself be good at it. That will fundamentally shift you, which will fundamentally shift the result. You're good at 2 or 3 things, own it. It's going to change the result, right? We worry that changing ourselves is a lot of work, not realizing that sometimes it doesn't take a lot of work at all to experiment with the way that you're naturally wired. Just let it happen.
Freedom! So fresh, so new. Freedom!